It's really happening. The new IRA is not a myth. It's a real, active paramilitary organization, the successor to the Irish Republican Army of old, but it has a new enemy, a new kind of imperialism. The Daily Mail is reporting that intelligence officials have confirmed that the new IRA is planning a campaign of violence intended to drive migrants out of Ireland. The plot follows the attempted beheading of a man by the name of Stephen Ogilvy by a 30-year-old Sudanese man named Hadi Al-Adid, an asylum seeker living in Northern Ireland on a visa granted to him by the British government. He pinned the 44-year-old NHS worker to the ground in northern Belfast with a knife, and to the horror of onlookers, he then tried to cut his head off. The footage of the assault went viral within hours, and when it did, something in the people of Northern Ireland, people who had already been living through years of open borders and rising tensions, finally snapped. By Tuesday evening, hundreds had poured into the streets, smashing windows and doors, burning homes they believed housed migrants. They torched a city bus. 12 police officers were injured. More than 24 families lost their homes. And from the ashes of those riots emerged a new IRA. Sources say they remain committed to a united Ireland, but now they're exploiting local frustrations on both sides of the border over rising harassment, sexual assault, and violence attributed to migrants. A video was recently posted showing an unidentified man declaring the IRA will issue ultimatums, giving migrants 24 hours to leave or else. British officials are concerned that the campaign could trigger a fresh wave of migrants fleeing Ireland into the UK, especially across the Northern Ireland land border. Central banks continue buying gold at record levels all over the world. Global debt continues to explode. Geopolitical tensions aren't going away. And if those trends haven't changed, then why would the case for owning physical gold and silver? That's one reason why I trust Augusta Precious Metals. So if you'd like to learn more, go to turleybuysgold.com or text Turley to 35052. That's 35052 and request Augusta's free guide. Click on that link below right now. Ironically, according to Politico, it's not just the IRA that's reviving. The real, documented, large-scale anti-migrant violence that's rocked Northern Ireland, so the burning of the homes, the riots, the mobs, that actually has nothing to do, as far as we can tell, with the new IRA. It's actually coming from the opposite side of the old sectarian divide entirely. The Loyalist paramilitary groups, the UDA, the UVF, reawakening and operating in Protestant working class areas of Belfast. Now, if you don't know, the UDA, so that's the Ulster Defence Association, and the UVF, that's the Ulster Volunteer Force, these were the two largest loyalist paramilitary groups during the whole Northern Ireland Civil War. Loyalist meaning that they were pro-UK. So they're literally the opposite of the IRA. They were formed in the late 60s and early 70s as Protestant militias determined to keep Northern Ireland part of the United Kingdom, and were very violent towards Catholics. So they more or less ceased being active after the ceasefire in the 1990s. But again, according to Politico, both the UDA and the UVF are going through a resurgence. But this time, it's protecting their land from the invasion of migrants. So the sectarian violence in Northern Ireland that a lot of us grew up with, you guys remember that if you're my age, right, in the 70s and 80s and even in the early 90s, Republicans versus Loyalists, Green versus Orange, Catholic versus Protestant, that sectarian violence in many respects is returning, but now the sectarianism is turning more into a civilizationalism. Protestants and Catholics aren't fighting each other anymore. They're fighting migration, particularly from Northern Africa and the Middle East. particularly Islam, a faith they believe increasingly to be incompatible with Christian values, either Catholic or Protestant, which then raises a very significant question. In light of this civilizational rather than sectarian struggle, are these two groups, the Loyalists and the Republicans, actually doing the unthinkable? Are they joining forces? Could that possibly be happening?